Hey, what's up guys, it's Bakes here and thank you for joining me for today's tracklist ranking video. It has been a very long time since I've done one of these on my channel, but super excited to get back into it. And today's album that I'll be ranking from my least favourite song to favourite song is the second full-length album by the band Spiritbox, titled Tsunami Sea. Super excited to get into this one. There's a lot to really break down here in terms of songs, because a lot of them are fresh in my mind because this album only came out last year, 2025. I don't even think it's a full year old yet, but super excited to get into this one. Now, if you want to know my complete thoughts of Tsunami Sea by Spiritbox, I have also done a full-length review of this album, so if you want to check that out, it should be up on my channel at the same time. If not, I'll remember to link it in the description below. So if you want to check out my complete thoughts of the album, not specifically breaking down the songs or whatever, but what I give it a rating out of 10 and things like that, go check out that video. But either way, if you are someone who is familiar with my tracklist rankings and know how it works, going through the 11 song tracklist of Spiritbox's Tsunami Sea, ranking it from my least favourite song to favourite song. These videos can take a while sometimes. Like I said, it's all pretty fresh in my mind, so I've got a bit to go through. So without delaying any longer, let's get into it. Breaking down Tsunami Sea by the band Spiritbox from my least favourite song to favourite song. The track No Loss, No Love comes in at my last place for today's ranking at my number 11 spot. Now, the one thing that I can say this track does have going for it is these unique spoken word breaks throughout the track. You know, I don't really remember Spiritbox being a band that does that too much throughout their songs, so it does have that unique take on it throughout the album, but otherwise it's a song that I just don't overly care for. And hey, unfortunately, it's just one of those situations where something does have to come in last place, and this was my pick for last place. And honestly, it didn't really hurt too much. I feel like it is my least favourite song on the album by a fair step. Unfortunately, it's one of those albums where I don't think it actually has a abysmal song where you go like, how the fuck did this make the final cut or whatever. It's not that bad of a song, it's just not one I overly care for, and again, something has to come in last place. So at my number 11, No Loss, No Love. Coming in at my number 10 is actually the opening track of the album, and I can guarantee I'm going to mispronounce the name here, but Fata Morgana is what I have here at my number 10 spot. Like I said, the opening track, and it's a song that is absolutely fine. The highlight is definitely the chorus. Again, if you've heard me speak about Spiritbox, this is definitely one of their best elements. Just being this beautifully angelic bounce against like what are these extremely heavy verses, arguably some of the heaviest verses on the album in my opinion. It's not a bad song, it's just for what I want. Especially, you know, this being the opening track and sort of setting the scene to what to expect from this album. It just leaves me wanting a touch more. Again, a perfectly fine song, just being the opening and, you know, setting the pace for what's to come, it just doesn't hit the range that I want it to hit. Coming in at my number 9, I have the track Tsunami Sea. Now, without wanting to sound repetitive to my thoughts on the previously brought up track Fata Morgana, where that track was the opener, but I didn't really feel like it hit the way an opener should. My thoughts on Tsunami Sea pretty much replicates my thoughts on that song, where instead of being the opener, this is the title track. The song itself is, again, perfectly fine. Obviously, I like it a touch over, again, Fata Morgana, which was the previous take, but it doesn't cross my mind much, hence doesn't really scream to me title track for the album. It's good. It's fine. Again, I like it more than two of the previously mentioned songs. It's just not overly memorable. It's not really a song that gravitates to me in particular. And again, I just wanted something a little bit more for the title track. Something that when I listen to the song, I go, yep, that is a Spiritbox album right there, and something that represents it well. Coming in at my number 8, I have the song A Haven with Two Faces. Now, this is one that I weirdly always seem to misremember as thinking that I actually like it more than I do. I mean, the song is perfectly fine. It's actually pretty good. I think we're starting to get into the point of the ranking where my enjoyment of the songs are going up a whole nother level. But again, it's just not a personal favorite of mine, maybe slightly a little bit too long in its runtime. It's just a good song, but I think we're sort of at the point where it's as simple as I just happen to like other songs that are still yet to come on this ranking more than I like this one, and sometimes it's just as simple as that. Coming in at my number 7, I have the track Keep Sweet. Now, believe it or not, considering its placement on today's ranking overall, this is a song that's actually grown on me a lot. I used to think it was a track where it was fine enough, perfectly average. I think the thing that hurt it the most at first was I found it to be quite forgettable compared to the rest, but a great memorable chorus that the more I listened to this song, the more it actually grabbed a hold of me and didn't let me forget about it, the more this song grew on me. The song has definitely made big moves up this ranking over time, maybe not enough yet to make such high jumps into the top tier or anything like that, but nevertheless, I mean, especially considering when I was putting this ranking together, when I first put it, just my initial list, this was in the bottom 3, so for it to be at the number 7 spot, I think goes to show how much this one actually grew on me the more I came back to listen to it. Coming in at my number 6, I have the track Black Rainbow. Now, this is the second song off the album, and it's the first to be an undeniable headbanger. This is one where it's foot on the throat, all gas, no brakes, and just never lets up. A small detail that I actually really like about this song, and maybe people have noticed it, but it's something that really stands out to me, giving this song a little bit more personality, is almost like this eagle-like screech that plays consistently through the song. I'm so convinced they've actually just got a sample of an eagle screeching, and that's genuinely what they're using there. And I know it seems like nothing and just a small minor detail where you hear it and go, okay, so fucking what? But it's the small things that, as I said, give this song a little bit more of an edge and a little bit more of a personality, especially considering this is something that I have brought up before in heavy metal songs where there aren't any clean vocals, because I don't think there are any clean vocals in Black Rainbow, or maybe there's a small segment that does, but these kind of songs aren't usually my thing. I like to have a balance between, but just those small minor details where maybe it is a sample of an eagle doing this screech, I think just gives it a little bit more personality to something that isn't usually my taste. But Black Rainbow is just one of those songs where it has something about it to set it apart, where it's never been a weak effort off this album, in my opinion, from the first time I heard it. So coming in at my number 6, Black Rainbow. Coming in at my number 5, I have the track Crystal Roses. Now, admittedly, this song over time has kind of wavered on me. It's never been one where it totally drops off my radar and I don't care for it. It normally just floats around sort of that mid-tier range to higher, but it's a song where more often than not I'm enjoying listening to it, so I'm happy for it to make a top 5 position in today's ranking. It's got this electronic influence to it, which is nice and unique, and an electronic influence in metal music is something that I don't normally gravitate towards. It's not something that overly draws me in, but considering it's not overplayed, and honestly it's kind of a one-off on this album, it's a nice change of pace. It's something different for the album. If there was 4 or 5 other songs doing it, I'd be like, but it's doing its own thing here, which is nice. And then lastly, it's the start of an incredible run home towards the back half and closing of this album. It is the weakest of the 3 closing songs, obviously, because there's still 2 yet to come, but this track is still awesome nevertheless. Coming in at my number 4, I have the track Deep End. Now, just straight off the bat, in my opinion, this is the second best written song on the album. First best written is still obviously to come, else I would have brought it up before, but a great example of what Spiritbox do best and so wonderfully. Honestly, a lot of what I'm going to cover with this song will be later expressed again with songs still yet to come, so I'm going to try and keep this one short. But one thing that I'll quickly add is that this song feels like a better example of what could have been the title track of this album. I just feel like this song is more memorable, feels more to me what I feel like the album represents and what it is tone-wise. But again, still a great song, and definitely again part of that incredible run home towards the back of the album, this one actually being the closing song of the album. Coming in at my number 3, I have the track Soft Spine, which is the fan favourite / most successful song off this album, and I think for good reason. The song is just so badass and heavy hitting, like it's difficult to not enjoy a song like this one, especially when Spiritbox do it, and that's coming from someone who, like I previously mentioned with one of the songs previous on this list, I think it was Black Rainbow, normally songs that don't let up and don't give you a break from unclean, heavy vocals and, you know, things like that, don't give you a rest from that. Normally they're the songs that I don't gravitate towards, but Soft Spine is kind of an exception because this song is just incredible. The writing is brutally awesome, like it's a major fuck you, but then mix that in with you know, sonically it's heavy as fuck, but then that lyrics as well, it just gives the song a bit more grit and a bit more attitude. And also the unclean screaming vocals from Courtney, like they literally don't let up. Like I know I just said before the song has no breaks, but literally there isn't a moment in a chorus, in the verses. This song is just never letting up. Like I just can't describe like how heavy it is the whole way through, which also explains why it's one of the shorter tracks possibly. You know, just you don't want to be fucking screaming for like 5 minutes straight, but it does what it needs to, gets in and out. And like I said, for a song that, you know, blueprint wise and what it's doing isn't one that normally is up my alley, it's clear to see why it's such a fan favorite, and again it's also one of my favorites. Coming in on my number 2, I have the track Ride the Wave. Now this is the song I was alluding to earlier, where in my opinion I think it's the best written song on this album. I think it has potential for being the best written song that Spiritbox have done in general. Such a bittersweet written song, and if you know my taste in music, that is quite a theme that I've been enjoying in my music for a very long time, and I think a band like Spiritbox is the perfect band to get that feeling across sonically. It's heavy when it's needed to be, but then also you have these beautiful melodic choruses where the themes of what is being written through that chorus is just ramped home there, and I think it's just incredibly done. And then you have these incredible bridges that are just thrown on top to just send the song home. I just think this song is so masterful. I think this has the most potential over time to become my favorite on this album. I think just with this album being so fresh and so new, and the singles being so strong, and they're the songs that I've been the most familiar with. And again, you know what song is left now if you've been paying attention, but I think this one has the factor of being one to linger around and eventually take that top spot. But love this track, Ride the Wave, Spiritbox as my number 2. Coming in as my number 1, my favourite album from Tsunami Sea, I have the track Perfect Soul. Now this is the track that has always been my favourite from this album from the very first time I heard it. It just is a great example of everything that I really like about the band Spiritbox. And it is a fan favourite as well, but I feel like where most people gravitated towards Soft Spine, which again is obviously one that I understand also because it's in my top 3, but this track has always just reminded me of some of my favourites from Spiritbox catalogue in general, but it reminds me very much of hearing songs like Hurt You or The Summit off Eternal Blue, for example, where that was my first taste of the band, and they're the two songs that just instantly grabbed me. Again, going into this new album, seeing what was going to be fresh with Spiritbox and their new sound, Perfect Soul is the first one that grabbed me, and it just reminded me very much of those feelings of hearing a song like Hurt You again, for example. And like I said, Spiritbox, they're a band that I think just has this balance between their heavy stuff and then their lighter stuff. and they just incorporate it into one song so smoothly and so effortlessly. And I think this is a great example of it, just showing why Spiritbox are one of the best bands doing that at the moment. So this is a song I could talk about for ages. It was this close to making my top 20 favorite songs of 2025. Go and check out that video if you want as well. Spoiler alert, like I said, it didn't make the cut, but definitely has merit for being in there. So my number one, the track Perfect Soul, my favorite song off Tsunami Sea by Spiritbox. So there we go, guys. Thank you for joining me with this track list ranking of Spiritbox's second album from 2025 being Tsunami Sea. If you want to put down your favorite songs from the album, let me know in the comments below, guys. Again, if you want to know my entire thoughts of this album overall, where it's less specific to the songs themselves, but just a general thought and overview of the album itself, check out my random album review. Like I said, if I remember to do so, I'll link it in the description below, guys. But I appreciate you guys joining me, and again, especially since it's been so long since I did a track list ranking and an album review. So let me know your thoughts of this video down below, even if you don't want to talk about the songs, and I'll see you guys for another video regardless of what it is. Peace.